Greetings from frozen Saskatchewan. We're just heading into week 3 of no furnace, so I'm sitting here in my parka once again, being thankful that the sun is shining and we're getting a little bit of warmth through the windows, but really hoping for that furnace to come here soon. So one of the things I've been thinking about lately is how the kids have actually, or having kids has actually helped me with run my business and find that balance between life, work, family. So actually there's been several things that they have taught me about business, and today I'm just going to talk about one of them, and that is how I am available, but I do have limits. When I first started off in business, I really didn't understand the value of putting limits on my availability. I worked crazy hours and often worked during our vacations, had really no set office hours, and so clients were able to contact me just whenever it was convenient for them. And in fact, one client actually called me in the hospital when I was in the delivery room having one of our kids. True story, actually. So obviously that one is way over the top as far as taking things too far. But for the most part, I have to say, before my husband and I started our family and before we had kids, those kind of hours worked okay for me. He worked on a dairy farm and worked long hours, and it kind of put in some time for me. And also my business was just growing, so I didn't have the volume of clients that I have now. So once the kids came though, boy did things have to change. As most kids are, they too wanted 100% of my time. And I just wasn't able to, or I never felt like I was giving all to my kids or giving all to my business. I always felt like I was, not really doing any of the jobs well. So I learned that in order to find that balance between work and family and just calm down the insanity, I needed to put some boundaries in place, not just with my clients, but also with my kids. I loved them and I would do anything, absolutely anything for them, but they needed to know and respect that I too was a person and that I couldn't be at their beck and call 24/7. And that same principle followed for my clients. While I am willing and do give 110% to my clients during work hours, they needed to realize that I also had off work hours and that my family needed me during that time. So I put in some boundaries in place, and for me, it looks different for everybody, but for me, that kind of looked like this. I no longer return phone calls or emails after work hours. So my clients do know that I have office hours, and during those times, they can contact me whenever. But when those times are over, that is my family time. I also no longer work on vacation. That's crazy. And we need to have family time during that time. And I trust that my clients, and I think actually my clients, respect me for making those decisions. So work and family, finding that work-family balance is always a challenge. And I think finding out what that means for you and what that looks like for you and your family is really, really important. So if you're just starting out in business, or if you are struggling with finding that balance and what it looks like for you, I really suggest just taking the time to write out what your boundaries look at. What does it look like to have a good balance between work and family? Write those down and then communicate them to both your family and your clients. And I think you'll find that finding that perfect balance is much easier for you.